Let's see. All right. All right. We are live and we are going to be talking about a subject to deal in Lansing. Hey, Tina. Thanks for joining live. And then we got a deal today in 2414 Creston Ave in Lansing, Michigan, 48906. Here's the information that's been posted so far. Mortgage balance of $72,000, PITI of 582. There's arrears of 750. Huh, it's pretty low. Monthly payment is 720 until arrears are paid. Isn't that just like extra $140 a month? That's like 6 months. That's weird. 2.875% interest rate. ARV supposedly 150 grand to 160 grand. LTR is 1,400 to 1,500. Let's see about that. $15,000 to the seller, $15,000 of assignment fee. That's a pretty hefty assignment fee considering the purchase price of it. But hey, let's see. Excellent location, less than a mile from Old Town of Lansing, which is the hardest market in Lansing. I don't know this area, but it's 3 miles from Michigan State. Okay, good to know. Let's analyze this deal together. So the first thing I want to do is I pop this up on Zillow, and I'm trying to just figure out what the condition of the home is. It's decent, but I can probably leave the kitchen intact for the most part. But definitely, I'm going to replace all the flooring. See how the carpet's all messed up? It's not even lined up right. I'm not even sure they just rolled out the carpet and didn't glue it down. I have no idea what's going on here. There's like pieces of carpet all over the place. So I'm just going to assume that the entire flooring needs to get replaced. At least carpeting. Yeah, you see this? Like this carpet coming off the floor right there. All right. Laundry room. I'll just paint over that. A little storage in the back. Okay. All right. Easy enough. Next thing we want to do is we want to check the crime score. I'm going to go to tophap.com, plug in the address, tophap.com, and then you go to the neighborhood section. You should be able to get the crime score. This is at 122. 122 is just a little high, little on a higher end, but I don't know this area really well. So let's just see if we can do a quick Google map drive-by on here. Let's do this together. Let's do street view. I don't love it when people park their cars right in the yard like that. It's not a great look, but let's keep going. Looking up for boarded up homes, trash. Doesn't look too bad. Got some children's park in the backyard there. See, this is a boarded up home. It's doesn't make me feel at ease that there's a boarded home that close. It's literally just right down the street. So a little iffy about this area. I don't know this area very well, but let's see what else is near. It's near some food, some fast food. What else is it near? I don't see any big grocery stores. Next to an airport. It's good to know. There's a hotel right there. There's Lansing. I'm assuming this is probably the university that they were talking about. All right. Well, next thing is that we're going to go to affordablehousing.com and then we're going to get the market rents. We're going to plug in the address right here, 2414 Creston Ave, Lansing, Michigan. This is a 3-bedroom property. So we'll plug that in. And then what you're going to see here is it says that the market rent for 3-bedroom homes here, on average, for 25 units within a 0.91 mile radius is $11.28. I'm going to write these numbers down. $11.28. That's 0.91 mile radius. 0.91. What's the zip average rent? Average rent in zip is $12.83. $12.82 for the city. $13.03. How does that compare to what the wholesaler is marketing? $1,400, $1,500. So this is about $300 less. All right, let's keep on going. Let's get the fair market rents, FMR. And what county is this in? Let's see. County. This is in Ingham County. So when we Google HUD FMR, we'll be able to find this page right here, just so everybody's following. Fair market rents. You go down and click down to access to small area FMRs. Click on FY 2024 FMRs. Select the state and the county that this property is in, Ingham County. So we'll pick that one. And then we're going to find the fair market rents, which is what I like to call the ceiling rents for 48906 zip code, 48906. And here you will see that the fair market rents for 2 bedrooms, $970. The fair market rents for a 3-bedroom is $1260. What's going on, Andy? Good to hear from you, man. And we're going to use $1260 as the rent ceiling for this property. Now, FMR 48906, we're going to write all these numbers down. And the whole reason why I'm writing these numbers down is because my partners understand exactly how to underwrite. So it's going to be good to get all these numbers down so they can see where exactly the numbers came from my research. 1290. Now, this is interesting. You see how the FMR for a 3-bedroom is 1260 and then goes to a 4-bedroom of 1290. That tells me that there really isn't much demand for a 4-bedroom property. So I'm not even going to consider what my alternative option is. Like, why would I spend all that money to convert an extra bedroom when I'm only getting extra $30 in ceiling rent potential? So that's not going to be the strategy here. So I'm just going to underwrite the property using the information that I already have. And I'm going to compare it right now. Even though the FMR is 1260 right here for a 3-bedroom property, when we looked at the average market rents for a 3-bedroom within 0.91 mile radius, the rent was $1128. So I'm going to assume that my rent is going to be $1128 to be conservative. I might even just put $1150 just to keep it round numbers. However, this is the scenario that you are dealing with because even though the ceiling rent is higher, there's a test called the rent reasonableness test. And the rent reasonableness test says that even though you have a property that has a rent ceiling of $1260, right? $1260, you cannot charge more rent to a voucher holder simply because they're a voucher holder. You cannot charge more than what the fair market rent is. Do you need to pay monthly for a top app? Yes, I do pay monthly for top app. It's just really super easy to look up the crime score. So I pay for it so I can analyze deals. And as you guys can see, I have analyzed deals all over the United States over the past 98 days when I've been going live. So just something that I pay for. So to share you guys, like, hey, this is how I get comfortable with the market really quick. Next up is, hey, Adriana, you're welcome for the calculator. You're so welcome. For those folks that are wanting the same calculator, please feel free to just DM me your email at investwithkenthe, and I can send you a calculator. I've been very fortunate, been given these calculators, and I've just been able to modify them and adjust them so that they fit my underwriting needs. So for my underwriting stuff today, I'm going to set aside $1,500 for roof repairs in case there's anything that I cannot see in the photos. Doesn't look like they're doing a very complete job if they have photos where they have unglued down carpet or they have just carpet scraps all over. Doesn't look like they have their stuff together. Then I'm going to have a $500 to clean up the landscaping in case there's any issues there. Now for painting, I usually budget $3 a square foot, and this property is 1,077. So I'm going to put in 1,077 square feet for the painting. And honestly, I'm going to assume that I'm going to replace the flooring for about half the floor with LVP, just because it's a little bit more standardized and it can probably hold up better with tenants. So I'm going to take 1,077 divided by 2. Again, all I'm doing is I'm not sizing it exactly. I'm simply determining whether or not it's worth my time to send somebody out there to want to get a contractor bid so that I'm not wasting a busy contractor's time with a property that I'm not really serious about. Because all good contractors, guess what? They're probably busy. And if you waste your time on like 1-2 properties and you end up not doing anything with it, chances are they might not even pick up your call anymore afterwards. So just something for you to pay attention to and be mindful about. Now, I'm going to put in a little bit of money for the water heater just in case there's some issues there. And I'm putting some money for termite issues just in case. So this brings my total rehab to about $15,000. Again, I'm being super conservative, right? If you remember what this person said when they're advertising, they were advertising the deal with long-term rental of $1,400 to $1,500. I'm only using $1,150. They are also advertising that you only need $1,000 of rehab for a long-term rental. I'm using $15,000. So significant difference, right? And I'm being super conservative here, and that's just my style. I'm not saying that I'm not going to lose out on deals because I'm being conservative, but it gives myself confidence. It's just my style. So that if I know I spot a deal, man, I know it's a deal because I know how conservative I am. All right. So let's do mortgage balance of $72,000. Let's kind of plug this right in. 72 grand. What's my interest rate? 2.875. 2.875. I don't know when this loan started, but let's plug in the other numbers there, which is $15,000 to the seller and a $15,000 assignment fee. Great. $15,000 to the seller, $15,000 assignment fee. I'm going to leave in there 2.5% closing costs. And my asking price right now is I'm going to assume that's the principal plus the cash to seller right now is my purchase price. So I'm guessing it's $87,000 right now. So entry fee is $30,000 plus buyer's closing costs. I'm going to set it at 2.5% of $87,000. And my renovations is going to be equals to that 15 grand. So my total entry fee on this property is going to be 47 grandish, right around there. And if I update my numbers here, 1150 is going to be my rent for this property. Again, I got this rent from the market rent estimator on affordablehousing.com. Okay. Next thing I want to do is I'm going to back into how much my property taxes are. Now you see here that the PITI disclosed by the wholesaler was 582. Okay. Equals 582. And I'm going to subtract that by the principal and subtract that by the interest. And the remaining balance is what I'm going to assume is my property tax number and my insurance number. Now, I'm also going to add an extra $35 per month just because I understand that insurance policies for an investment property is typically a little bit more expensive than a primary residence policy. So I'm going to add $35 a month just to kind of be a little bit conservative there. Now, I then will be setting aside 10% of my capital of my rent, monthly rent, every single month for $115. And that's because I assume something is going to break in the home, some kind of preventive maintenance is going to happen. I think this is frankly kind of low, 115, but 10% is also a good healthy chunk. Do you see the rehab costs? You have a sheet for several states with different rehab costs. Hey, Adrian, this is based off of my experience in Scottsdale and based off of my experience in Atlanta and Birmingham. I do not have the same cost. And frankly, this is that rehab estimate. I would only recommend using it as a guidance. I would not recommend and assume that it's a peanut butter spread approach across all different places, because you might get a subcontractor that might do flooring for $5 a square foot. And it just depends on your market. So this just helps you determine whether or not it's worth you getting a contractor out there to give you a bid. And then at the same time, what your goal is there is to get itemized bids so that you know how to refine your rehab numbers for a better flooring estimate, for a better paint estimate, so that you can understand like, hey, this is my rehab calculator going forward for Michigan, or this is my rehab calculator going forward for Missouri, as an example. So it's going to differ by market. So I wouldn't worry so much about like, hey, same rehab costs for all states. It's just, again, the point of this underwriting is to see and determine whether or not you want to spend more time on it. Hopefully that makes sense. All right, I got 8% for property management. Well, this is in Michigan, so I know I had a property manager that would do it for 12% out in Michigan, but this is close to Detroit. But I'm going to put this a little bit higher at 12%. And my vacancy here is going to be 3%. I might bump it up to 5% just because Michigan's a little bit of a colder state. And that's the number I've been given for Michigan from other property managers. So I bumped it up a little bit. And with these numbers as is right now, I at 1150. Oh, hold on. I forgot there's arrears. Arrears only 750. You might as well just pay off the arrears, to be honest with you. Let's just pay off the arrears so we don't get so complicated with the monthly payment here. All right. So now we have all these numbers set aside. What do we have? We are now cash flowing $222.50, assuming the rent was $1150, $222.50 a month, and that's a cash and cash return of 5.5%. And purchase price of this property was assuming 87 grand, and my rehab was 15,646. Okay. So this is the number for this property right here. Now, this is kind of good because I am positive. However, when I looked at the property and the street view, I didn't love that there was a border home like literally down the road. So for me, I don't want to deal with it. But for somebody else right here, this might be worth your time to investigate this property further. You might want to say, well, 5.5%. What if my rehab was actually half the cost? What if Ken overestimated his rehab? What if I didn't need to put in LVP? If you just half the cost of my rehab, your cash on cash return now is 6.6%. And all I did was half the rehab here, right? Divided by 2, it's still $87,000. Cash flow is still the same at 222. Whoops. And then my rent is still $1,150. Now, let's say you got $1,200 in rent, right? This is a better deal for you. I don't know, but this doesn't meet my criteria. I usually target about 15% return on my deals. Again, this is not investment advice. I'm not soliciting any investments. I'm simply showing you how I think through these deals and what I do on a daily basis. That's all it is, 7823. So for you, I don't know, if your cash and cash return is like 10%, maybe this is a deal for you. It's just not a deal for me on this end. So hopefully this was helpful. I hope you guys will continue to analyze deals with me every single day. Remember, all it takes is just 18 minutes a day, which we're already at right now at 17 minutes. All it takes is 18 minutes a day for 365 days. If you do this consecutively every single day with me, well, you're probably going to be better at underwriting deals than 95% of America. And for those of you that are struggling to think about, hey, what is the first step or what is the next step that I can do? Well, just copy what I'm doing. Analyze the same property tomorrow, put it on your own YouTube channel, and now all of a sudden you're going to feel super comfortable when it comes time to pull the trigger on a deal. And then you might have partners in the future that will ask you, hey, why do you think this is a deal? Well, when that happens, then you can point them to your own YouTube channel and say, hey, here's all of the past 100 deals I've analyzed. Fresh move in silence. Underwriting is just another fancy word for analyzing. A lot of times you will hear the word underwriting because people use insurance to understand the risk or analyze the risk and determine exactly how much to charge or how much return that you need to justify the risk that you're putting into an investment. So underwriting is just another word for analysis. It's just a fancy word for it. I will use those two terms synonymous with one another when it comes to real estate. Good question, though. Thanks for asking. Well, and this is it. If you guys just analyze a deal with me every single day, copy the same properties I'm doing, hopefully that will build up your own YouTube channel to get to where you want it to be. And then all of a sudden, you're going to be able to develop a track record and you will be able to develop confidence, most importantly, so that you can tell yourself that you know what you're doing. I remember how scared I was when I was first analyzing deals because I didn't know what I was doing. And the only way to get over analysis paralysis is by doing the work. This is the implied work that comes with buying deals. This is the implied work. You can't buy 100 deals without analyzing 1,000 deals. That's just the natural truth. So hopefully you all are able to join me and continue joining me analyzing deals every single day. And we'll be back here again tomorrow. We've been going live for 98 days in a row. And this has now become a daily habit. It feels weird now when I don't analyze a deal live. So let's keep doing it together. And we will be back here again tomorrow.